Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Mastering Hunt Showdown video where I give you one tip each and every video to take into the bayou with you, master, and become a god at Hunt Showdown. Now, each of these videos does build off the previous video, so if you haven't checked the previous video yet, I'll have it up in whatever corner. You can go back and watch that. And yeah. So in the last video, we kind of talked about muscle memory, and more specifically, we talked about muscle memory in your keybinds. But during that video, I also said that there's another type of muscle memory, and that is muscle memory in your aim. Now, aim is a little bit more complex, and there's kind of multiple parts to it, and so I'll be making multiple videos that cover it. But in today's video, we're going to be setting the foundations that are necessary for improving your aim game. All right, so the very first thing that we need to understand when it comes to the basics of aiming are all of the hitboxes. Now, there's a few different hitboxes that you have in Hunt. The first is the head, the second is the upper torso, the third is the lower torso, the fourth is the arms, and the fifth is the legs. Now, each of these sections has a different amount of damage that they deal depending on what section that you hit. That's not really what this video is about, but the reason we are understanding the hitboxes here is because we kind of want to understand where we need to be lining up our aim depending on the situation. Now, obviously, in the ideal world, you would always be clicking heads. That's because if you land a shot in that head hitbox within the weapon's effective range, you kill that person no matter how much health they have. Now, the next section that deals the most damage is the upper torso. And these are actually the sections that we're going to be focusing on when we talk about building the foundation of aim. Now, the reason for this, we already talked about the headshots. Obviously, headshots are golden. Now, one thing to understand about the upper torso is that it's roughly twice the width of the head of every character model in every AI model. This means that technically, it's twice as easy to land an upper torso shot than it is to land a headshot. Now, in Hunt Showdown, time to death or time to kill is significantly fast. Within an average fighting range, almost every weapon in Hunt Showdown can actually 2-tap somebody to the chest or 1-tap them to the head. There are some exceptions there. For example, the Bornheim actually takes 3 shots usually. So with that in mind, ideally, like I said, we'd want to be clicking heads, but if you can't click heads, as long as you can land 2 shots into the upper torso, you can also get a kill relatively easy. Sometimes it might take a 3rd shot depending on the range you're at, what weapon you're using. But at the end of the day, that's the general idea. Now, obviously, you're going to hit other hitboxes. It's just inevitable. You're never going to be a perfect headshot or an upper body shotter. But when it comes to practicing your aim, we really want to be practicing on focusing those 2 hitboxes. And yes, I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but that's kind of the point. I want to drill this into your head. So, okay, you get it. You want to focus on head hitboxes and chest hitboxes. So then what should we do to improve in landing shots into those hitboxes? This is actually one area and probably the only time that I recommend training mode. In Hunt Showdown, there is training mode that you can actually select, and it allows you to bring in a hunter with whatever loadout you pick, so whatever guns you want to bring in, and it'll actually load you completely client-side into your own PvE only game. What this means is you can go around practicing your aim. I am a true believer in the more that you shoot your gun, the better your aim is going to be. So if you're somebody who constantly 24/7 sneaks around, crouching, hiding in bushes, and you knife everything and you rarely ever shoot your gun, your aim is never going to improve. That's where training mode is actually really nice because there's no risk to it at all. And you can also do this to warm up before you play bounty mode. Like I said, you're loaded into your own client-side version of the game. You're not loaded in with other players. It doesn't matter if you die in training mode. You keep everything. You don't lose anything. It's a fantastic place to practice the very basics of aiming. So what you're going to do in training mode is dead freaking simple, okay? All you're going to do is go up to AI that you find, and you're going to slowly line up your shots. Now, the reason we do it slowly is because when you start actually developing muscle memory through slow, repetitive movements, it actually becomes easier and easier and easier to develop the proper muscle memory to kind of know where you need to aim, how you need to aim, what the sway is like, how to counter that sway, and all of that jazz. Then as you start kind of mastering that muscle memory of how to control those things, you can actually start adding speed to it, and you'll be more accurate and more reliable as you do it. And all you're gonna do while you do this is practice landing headshots and practice landing chest or upper torso shots. Like I said, there's no rush here. You're not trying to be absolute god tier and flick shots and do all that stuff. I'm gonna teach you how to flick shots. I'm gonna teach you how to quick scope. That's just gonna be in later videos, okay? It's just right now we're practicing on getting that very foundation of your aim game. But MrSpwn, that's so boring. Yeah, it kind of is, but that's kind of what practice is for a lot of things when you're building a foundation. If you're ever learning how to play the guitar, it's a lot of repetitive motions through chord shapes, a lot of repetitive scales, all that kind of stuff until you really build up that foundation. And then you can start experimenting, go crazy and wild, and start kind of playing around with it to improve your learning beyond the foundation. Aiming is the exact same way. You got to do the boring stuff to kind of master that foundation before you can start throwing in the crazy stuff like the quick scopes, the flicks, and all that jazz. Again, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, and I know I'm gonna get comments. It's like, he's just saying the same thing over and over again so he can hit that 10-minute video mark. No, guys, it's not about video length here. It's about really drilling these points into your head because it's not something that's fun to do. But when you do it, when you do it and you master it, you're going to be able to move on to quick scoping and flick shots and quick aiming a lot more easy and a lot more reliably. Now, while you're practicing landing those headshots and chest shots, practice doing it standing, practice doing it crouching, practice doing it while you're strafing to the left and strafing to the right while standing and crouching, and practice trying to do it when you're transitioning from a stand to a crouch. And like I said, start slow until you get really confident with it, then start adding some speed to it until you start improving more and more and more and more, and it becomes really easy for you to kind of line up a headshot and line up a chest shot on just standard AI. Now, I know it didn't really seem like this video is too content heavy, but I promise you, if you master this foundation on my next videos where I teach you how to flick and I teach you how to quick scope and how to quick aim and do that kind of stuff, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do, okay? And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but that's the point. Beating the dead horse about beating the dead horse. Anyhow, guys, I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions about this stuff, I do stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday over on Twitch. I have a link for you guys down below if you want to go do that. I love answering questions, so feel free to stop by, ask any questions in chat. I also have an amazing community that if I don't get your question answered, they will definitely answer your question as well. But guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully you found it enjoyable. Hopefully you found it not super duper repetitive, even though it kind of was. But you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Love you guys. Bye.